With marathon training in full swing for me, I thought it'd be a good idea to give you guys an idea of what I use when I go out on my runs. This is going to be my third New York City marathon. I would love to try a couple of others, but because I live in New York, it's a little bit easier to kind of get out and join these races here. But without further ado, let's see what I use whenever I go out. Currently, my training program has me running 4 days a week. I make those days Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Things that I have to wear? Shorts, obviously. I don't have any kind of fancy running shorts. I've looked into getting a pair. I might have one sort of decent one. But just a basic pair of running shorts works fine for me. Beyond that, tank top. I tend to run pretty warm when I go out running. And because of that, it's very rare that I can wear a t-shirt or anything longer than that. Because I'm naturally hot, and when you go out running, your body temperature tends to raise 15 degrees or so warmer than the current temperature outside. So if it's 60, it really feels like 75 once you get out there and you're actually running. Because of that, tank top. If the weather drops below 40 degrees, then I'll put a t-shirt on and maybe some kind of long pants underneath my shorts. But that's really the dead of winter. That's most likely after marathon is when I might bundle up. The next important thing for me are socks. I can't wear what I will call regular running socks because my toes tend to rub together once I run for longer than an hour. So because of that, I started buying toe socks. Yes, they look silly, but they work for me. You know, they keep your toes little individual slots. I still might have to wrap band-aids around my big toe and my pointer running toe because I still might get blisters, but definitely running socks for toes, fantastic. I can't run without them. Water. This is a great thing to have with me because it's smaller and it fits in with the next thing, which is a running pouch. I used to have a different one, looked more like a fanny pack, but it pretty much just held my phone. With this thing, it has a hook on it so I can hold my keys. Since it has a bunch of slots all over around it, I'm able to hold a Metro card if I need to, cash if I have to, but it easily holds this type of water bottle, which will just slide right into one of these slits. And because this water bottle's curved, it goes right in the back and it's perfect. This water bottle is only 10 ounces, but there are enough water fountains around New York City where I'm able to stop and fill it up if I have to. Once again, I use this usually when I'm going further than 9 miles is when I'll use something like that. The next thing I'll have, some kind of energy. These are Gatorade Carb Energy Chews, and this one has caffeine, I believe. I've tried goo packs, but I really just don't like the way they taste, and the gummy ones, I enjoy them. They're a lot more flavorful than any type of goo thing that I've tried in the past. One suggestion that was told to me when I first started running a few years ago, never try some kind of nude food product the day of a race or going on a run. Try it before, because the last thing you want is to have an upset stomach when you're out on a long run. So this is what works best for me. I'll continue to try a new goo flavor if it pops up, but gummy, I'm a big fan of them. Sneaker wise, I run with Asics Keanu 23s. I used to have 22s. I don't think there's that big of a difference. I think like mesh design. These look a little fancier than your average Keanu because these are the New York City Marathon limited edition ones that they sell right before the New York City Marathon. I change my sneakers twice a year. I will have a pair that I run with right after the marathon and ones that I start using again late spring, early summer. So these are my late spring, early summer ones. I probably should change my sneakers 3 times a year, but 2 seems to be working for now. The time will come where I will have to change out 3 times a year. The next thing, headphones. I know some like hardcore runners, it's frowned upon to listen to music while you run. I can't do it any other way. I've tried. I've gone on like 3-mile runs without music. I mean, running is hard as it is. Wanting to go out and run is just, I'm not the type that looks forward to it. So I need music. And these Aftershocks 2 Blue, Aftershocks Blues 2S work great. The real reason why I love these so much is the way that they fit. They don't go into your ears, they come right outside. It's called bone conductive music or something like that. So you're able to still clearly hear your music, but hear everything else around you, which I find is essential when I'm running outside in the streets of New York or in Central Park. Anything, if I need to hear a car or somebody, I bump into a friend that's calling out my name, I like to be able to hear my surroundings while still clearly hearing my music. So these Aftershocks, a must. I can't run without them. Last but not least, obviously, my cell phone. I need to hear music, like I said. So without this, it's just not happening. Because of this pouch, it still easily holds my cell phone, including the water bottle, keys, and if I need to bring some kind of spare cash around with me. So my cell phone will go there, I'll put the water in the back and run easily with it. The last thing that goes with this phone is a running app. I am running with Runtastic Pro, which I believe charges. The Pro version, it might be a couple of dollars to have that app, which will track where you're going. But I also pay for a yearly subscription, which gives you a training program. Now, I've tried running without the training program, and it really didn't jive well with who I am as a runner. My very first marathon, I used Runtastic Pro, and what I loved about it is it coaches you along the way. If you want it, you can have as much coaching as you want. And what I mean by that, it'll tell you every mile how fast you've run to get there, your current speed. It'll tell you your heart rate, which works with your Apple Watch. I don't have all that turned on. What I do mostly have turned on is the cheering section. So if you're friends with me on Runtastic and you like my post, I'll hear cheering along the way, which is great when you're running long distance. That little bit of cheering makes all the difference. But when I'm also going on long runs, it'll tell me you're a quarter way through your training, halfway, 3/4, your training's over with. I do like that. I do a lot of there and back again runs. So when I go out on a run and I get to a certain point and the app says you're halfway through your run, I know I should run back home, and by the time I get there, the time should even out. The other thing is, the training program has interval runs, which I hate, but they are essential for long distance running. They're especially good for a half marathon training. And the way those kind of runs go, the interval runs work, is you do 20 minutes slow, and then you'll do somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes interval runnings and 20 minutes slow again. When you get to the intervals, those are usually 2 minutes slow and 3 minutes fast. So it's great having the coach say, okay, now you're running fast. It'll tell you you're halfway through this interval, and then when it gets to the end, 3, 2, 1, now run 2 minutes slow. I tried training for last year's marathon using Strava, but it was just frustrating. Having to go out on a run and constantly look at my watch to see if my 2 minutes is up and if I should start running fast. Once again, this is my weird thing. Having the coach tell me when to speed up and go slow, great. The other thing is, since this is advanced from when I first started using it 3 years ago, and it works with my Apple Watch, it'll tell me my heart rate range, which for the first time using that is very helpful. I've been trying to kind of stay in zone 4 when I go on these long runs, because I found when I get to zone 5, I am obviously getting a lot more exhausted quicker. So I'm going on these runs and it says, hey, you're in zone 3. All right, I can push myself a little bit more. Zone 4, great, let me keep this pace. Obviously, when I get to a hill, I might hit zone 5, understandable, but once I get over this hill, I try to give it a minute or two and see if I can bring my heart rate back to zone 4, and it's been like extremely helpful. I have noticed, since this is my 2nd week training, I'm noticing already that I can run longer distances and kind of keep my heart rate in the same zone without losing much time at all. So Runtastic Pro is the last thing that I find is essential when I'm training for a marathon or half marathon. Hopefully some of this stuff was useful and interesting to you. Let me know your thoughts. What do you use when you go out on a run? I would love to know. Maybe get a suggestion. I'm always looking for something new that can help me along the way. I think that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.